Hi there, it's Rob Anderson. I'm making this video today for everybody in general, but it was at a request of one of my clients, and so I figured I'd make it sort of generic, and that way I can cover it and allow other people to use this video in the future. First up, my first comment is that every website, if you want it to be found from an organic search, which means if somebody goes onto Google and searches for you or what product and service you offer, if you want to be found that way through the Google search network content system, you need to be writing an article at least every second or third day, posts, images, adding videos, basically adding content to your website. So that's a given, and this is going to be about article writing. By the way, if you don't want to, instead you just write 10 or 15 core articles that are absolutely perfect, related to telling people what they can get from you. In other words, it's more of a sales page then, and then you just buy traffic. So you go to Google Ads or Facebook or any of the ad networks, and you buy visitors to your site, and you hope that more people buy in profit than what you'd spend sending. This isn't about that. This is presuming that you want to be found organically and that you need articles written. Now, I do have a free article course that gives you a bit of a few tips on how to write articles. It will probably be linked to at the end of this video or somewhere nearby. If you haven't got it, it'll give you some tips on how to write it yourself. However, this is if either you just don't enjoy writing and you're not getting any articles done because it's just not working for you, it's something you absolutely hate, or you're too busy running your business and you know you need the content done. Okay. Now, my first comment is that you've got to be very, very careful that you're getting one of two things. You must have original content, and you must have content that correctly targets the subject you want. So if you're going to get people to write articles for you, you should make sure they clearly understand that it must be written in a friendly and chatty style. In fact, you can use the advice from my article course to what you need to tell them to write. So you would ask them to do things like to use bullet points, to use short paragraphs, short sentences, to not use any fancy long words. But at the same time, make sure the spelling and grammar is correct. That's absolutely vital. So that are the two things that you need. You need original content that is not copied and pasted from anywhere. At the same time, it needs to be well researched and accurate, no guessing or lies. So you need to double check that the people that are writing for you have not just made it up out of their heads, that it's real. And then thirdly, spelling and grammar. That must be easy to read. It must be comfortable. Remember this, it doesn't help if you go to all this trouble of getting people to your website and then they can't really understand your English, and then they think, and they run away. It must be readable to the point where they're reading it without even knowing it. It's kind of they're absorbing it. And yes, how you structure that on your site, that's a different story. Okay, so after 3.5 minutes of telling you why you need articles written and how you need them written, let's get to what this is all about, where to find those article writers. Now, if you're going to go for cheap, and cheap is anywhere in less than $5 and down. Actually, $7 and down is cheap. So if you find somebody who can do an article for you for $1.50, be careful. Be very, very careful. What they've probably done is written 4 or 5 articles and run it through an article spinner. Now, an article spinner, if done correctly, can be unrecognizable as a spun article, and it's safe enough to pass through the system, but you've got to understand that it's probably not going to be very high quality. So it's the old story, you pay for what you get. Be careful with cheap. You can use cheap to get eyes on your website, and once you're getting traffic, run a few ads and then replace the cheap articles with better ones. It is an option. Okay, so if you go to Google and search for article writers, just to run through this, guys that are advertising probably aren't going to be cheap. A freelancer or one I would suggest you look at. So, and they paid for that. Fiverr is worth looking at. I have a feeling I've opened that already. And iWriter is the one I normally recommend to people. You can go to Odesk and to Elance, and both of these are very good places. And there's another that I'm trying to think of now, and he's not ranking, which is interesting because he brags that he can rank everywhere. Unless I don't know the name of his site. By the way, all of these, you're welcome to go through them one by one and search for them. Until you've, until you've been through it all, you don't know. By the way, there's another thing you could try, and it's not very clever, but you could go to somewhere like, in fact, I'm going to pause this and open the site. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. What I've done is I've gone to Easy in Articles, and there are a lot of article directories. Here's another very good one, Articles Base. What you could do is test Google to see if you're in a niche that you might actually get away with publishing other people's articles. Give me another second again. Apologies there, I had to just let my emails run through. So you could go to Easy in Articles, you could find an article on a subject that relates to your niche, and you're allowed to publish that on your site. So let me, for example, here on this Articles Base, I've gone a bit deeper here. Currently my crafting site is one of my bigger ones. I could very easily pick this, buy bead supplies online and look for attractive deals in Swarovski and check crystal beads. Look for one that relates. That sounds a little too silly for me. I don't want that one. So I would find one that relates to my crafting site. In fact, let's do a search here and do knitting, for example. So I'd go and look up knitting. Here we go. Thank you very much. So I should have just done that right. So choosing the correct yarn, needles and hook size. So I would go to this article, and somewhere here there will be a button that says I can copy it and republish it. Republish article. So I copy that, and here's the HTML version. So I would take that and literally publish it on my site. Job done. Now, what I'm doing is I'm giving that person a backlink, good for them, but I'm putting duplicate content in my site. But you might find that if you put 30 or 40 of these with the correct keywords and did a little introduction to each one and said, hey guys, I found this really cool article to do with choosing the correct yarn and wool or whatever it is to do with needle and hook sizes, that a little bit of an introduction thing. And then after the article, add a video that's related to this that you found on YouTube. You might find that you can get away with it, and it's another solution to solving your content creation problem. So the same way here, I would go to knitting, hit search, and again it'll come up with, let's say, choosing yarn. So I would in fact try to do one that's similar, perhaps even publish 2 different articles on one page. If you chose enough snippets of other people's articles, by the way, that's called curation. So you could do a little bit like a news website where you creating an article with just little headlines that say, hey, if you need to start to learn how to start knitting, then click here and go and read this article about that. Then you write another thing about that and you refer to another thing. And basically you're creating a sort of a little short news article that's related to all of those things, and you're showing content from other sites, called curation, and that's another form of creating content for your site. So those are the one way. Okay, let's go back to buying articles from other people. So this was the search we looked at. Right, let me run through a few of these. Freelancer is massive site. So you would go to, I could log in, by the way, but let me not. You might have to, in fact, I do think you have to register to get a thing. So you'd basically find article writers on write some articles, and it would then search for, you'd put your budget in, and then you'd see recent article projects, how much they charged. Look here, we saw this guy did $2 an article. So you could get bids for low articles. And remember this, it's back to what you pay for what you get. The good news here with this is that you're going to get 50 people offering to write for you. So you go and you make the offer, and then you go and look at what their bid was and look at the quality of their writing to see if it's worth it. Okay, now Elance is going to do the same. So that's Freelancer. You could go to Odesk and do the same. Odesk is a place where people that do freelancers work, they do things. So here's a translator, there's web jobs, you can go here and have software made and all sorts of things. Billions of people. These are all jobs related to article writing. So, wow, I can't even say, Daniel I can say. So Daniel is a content writer for websites. I'm a dedicated professional writer, creative writing, that's $10 an hour. Now, very often, these writers will do 3 articles. So you're paying about $3, possibly. You'd have to double check. $3 an article. You can basically go through with the beauty of Odesk is you're protected financially. You can't be cheated. You have to approve it before they can get paid. But at the same time, if they think you're not approving it and using their articles, you can get banned and they can get paid anyway. So there are other ways that they protect both of you. Here's Elance, is exactly the same. Elance is a very, very big website full of people that do that sort of thing. So there's 99,000 article writers around the globe. Wow, huge. Okay, you could search for article writing service. It came up a slightly different. iWriter back on the top. Perfectly good one. You're paying $4 or $5, I think I recently found out. And it's a case of, they're probably okay. So here's iWriter. You could go to Fiverr and look up article writing. You'd need to take care. You see, here you get 10 articles for $5, and it says Copyscape Pass, which means that Sarah Articles is using an article spinner. So she write one article, she run it through the spinner, and she's basically making her $5. They're actually making $4 from it. And you're getting 10 spun versions of an article. So those aren't very clever to put it in a row on your website. You could put one on your site and one on Blogger and one on somewhere else and one on Facebook. So you could spread them around and they'll get you backlinks. But I'd suggest you don't put the ones from Fiverr onto your site. Get a better quality article. Okay, so other than telling you to go out and search for and check through these guys, write to them, check with them first, one by one. There's another place you can go to, by the way, and it's called Warrior Forum. On the Warrior Forum, there'll be a for hire section, and you can find writers there. Again, there's no proof that because they're on the Warrior Forum, which is a reputable internet marketing forum, there's no, what's the word I'm looking for, I guess, proof that, what am I looking for? Special offers, sell my product or service. Now I want sub-forums, Warriors for hire. Might be under that, or under the classifieds. So, here we go. We deliver high quality 20 articles for $40 or 10 articles for $20. So you've got to go and find out where they are. And when you click on this, the good news is that if they've really been a sinner, here it shows up. So Infusia said, I'd like a sample. Charming. So here's one of the sample. I'd like to see samples. Please PM me samples if you're interested. This is not good. There's none of these. These are all just people asking for samples. I'd like to see them come back and say, hey, this was brilliant. Use this guy. Interesting. So either way, check the dates too. So this was published, that's right now, it's very current, January 2015. not a bad place to start. Perhaps it's the right way. You'd have to, again, make sure you're getting what you want. You don't want to spend the $40, which is 500 rands in my money in South Africa here. Spend $40 and end up with 20 articles that aren't going to work for you. In fact, I see they've got a half version. Either way, it's pretty cool and probably well worth looking into. So Warrior Forum is also great. Okay, I've used up the full 15 minutes and probably another 2 minutes to come going through this with you, but you need to, when you want to get articles written for you, you need to be comfortable with how you go about doing it. If I did it for you as a service, I'm going to load a percentage on top, and it's truthfully, it's something that you are better off looking at it yourself. I can help you with keywords on what they must write on. If I haven't done training with you and taught you how to do that, it's absolutely vital that you're using the right keywords. Don't just willy-nilly write any rubbish on anything because you thought they might like to hear that. No, you've got to know well, you can do a few, but 80% of your content must be what people want. They want answers for keywords. So they're looking up specific things. That's what they want to know. Give it to them. If you give them a solution to what they've looked up, and that solution in the end gets you a few dollars, well, a bargain. So that's how you've got to write your content and why, so basically that's it. All right, so whether you use iWriter or Elance or Odesk or Freelancer or Warrior Forum or Fiverr, ouch, or if you resort to doing none of the original articles and switching to copying and pasting from eZine articles or from Article Base and other places, you need to be careful because sometimes you can't be sure that these are original articles. As far as I know, with Article Base and eZine articles, they are. But I remember when I was article marketing back 5 or 6 years ago, I used to put my original article on eZine articles, wait 3 or 4 days for Google to find it, and then come and put the same article on Article Base. So there goes your whole theory of original content, because somebody else has used this and somebody else has used it. For all you know, this article is on 300 websites. In fact, the articles that I used to use have they were used a lot of times by a lot of people, some of them about 20, 30 times, and others 2 or 3 times. But curation is a way of doing things. If you're very serious about looking at curation, where you're trying to use other people's content, then I can write up do another video for that. Okay, so I'm done for now. Thank you for your time. I hope that this has helped you find places and sort out any problems you have with getting content created for you. Before I run away, this was all about articles. There are obviously 100 places where you can get videos created for you, where you can get infographics and slide shares and that kind of thing. But every one of those would need to have a different video. By the way, probably most of them would be found still on Freelancer, Odesk, Elance, and Warrior Forum, and for that matter, Fiverr. So they're a very strong base or core of places to find people that can do almost everything for you. That's it. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Cheers.